What will show up on my record? That's a question that we get all the time. Washington State criminal matters may or may not show up on your record. If you're interested in that type of thing, this is the video for you, so stay tuned. My name is Lance Fryrear, and I'm a defense attorney in Lidwin, Washington. My law firm has been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years, and I'm putting out these videos to educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people will get the help they need. And I'm just going to jump right into it. What's a question that I get constantly? And let me tell you, it's a hard question to answer. The question is, will this show up on my record, or what will show up on my record? And the reason why that's a hard question is the word record, right? A record, people think of as, well, if someone can see it, it's on my record. Well, your real record is maintained by the Washington State Patrol Criminal Justice System in Washington State. And if you are arrested for a crime where you're fingerprinted, that's going to show up on your record as an arrest. If you're convicted of a crime and the court sends notice to State Patrol, which you're supposed to do, that's going to show up on your record as a conviction. So what if you're only investigated for a crime and you're not arrested? Will that show up on your record? The answer is no. It will not show up on the record if you're only investigated and you're not arrested. There might be a way for someone to figure it out. They could do a public disclosure request to the law enforcement agency investigating you, but if an employer ran a background check, there would be nothing on your record. Well, Lance, what if I'm charged with a crime and I'm not convicted? Well, then it depends. If you're arrested, you're going to have that arrest record, so people are going to be able to see it. And if you weren't arrested, you're not going to have anything on your official record because you weren't convicted in this example and you weren't arrested. But Lance, I got charged with a crime, I wasn't convicted, and I wasn't arrested, but it's still on my record. Well, that's because you're using record in the wrong way. There are private companies, lots of them, that collect data. And so if you ran this company that collects data from courts about people charged with crimes, you want to be really efficient in collecting that data, right? Hey, Sally was charged with an assault, but it was dismissed. Well, if Sally never got arrested and she got the charge dismissed, her official record by the State Patrol has nothing. But that private company has collected that data. And if an employer uses that data collection company to search for records, not your official record, it's going to show up there. So it's not a conviction and it's not official state record, but it's evidence that you were in court. And so a lot of people get really freaked out. The fact that it's showing up on a background check is going to mess me up, and it may or may not, but you have to know that there's nothing that one can do about private companies collecting and accurately selling information about people that were in court. Maybe one day there will be something. Maybe our legislature will try to make some law that makes that illegal for these private companies to publicize the times that we're in court, because it causes a lot of heartache and headache for people that contact me in my office. But, you know, it's a fact of life. And so what if you do have something on your official record? Is it there forever? What if you got arrested, okay, and you never got convicted? So the arrest record is there on the State Patrol, but there's no conviction. Can I get rid of that? The answer is oftentimes yes. If you got arrested but never convicted, there's a form that you can send into the State Patrol. It takes 3 years after an arrest with no charge ever filed, or 2 years after a case was dismissed, for the most part, to be able to delete the arrest record. And we'll try to put a link in the description for that form. It's called deletion of non-conviction data. That's deleting the arrest. Well, what if you were convicted of something? Can you remove that conviction? Well, sometimes you can. There's different rules for vacating convictions. It's not called an expunge. That's not what it is. You can vacate a conviction for a felony, and you can vacate a conviction for a misdemeanor in certain circumstances. So you can reach out to an attorney. The law is changing all the time, but you need a certain amount of lawful behavior, and certain types of offenses are excluded. Violent offenses are excluded. Some major felonies are excluded, but many felonies you can vacate. The effect of vacating a conviction does not make it invisible. It just makes it no longer a conviction. It's a dismissal. Okay, and still it doesn't affect all those private data companies. So what if you have a background check that comes back bad, and you know you aren't convicted, but yet this employer says you're not passing the background check? What should you do? Well, what we tell our clients to do is ask the employer for who they used for the background check company. Can you give me a copy of the report? And take a look and see what's there. You might have to run a report yourself if they don't give you their report, but you can see, is it accurate what is being reported? If it's not accurate, these companies typically have a way to challenge what's there, and you can request that they update it. Sometimes it's the employer who's not accurately reading the information provided by the private company. In those cases, if you happen to work with our firm, we might be writing a letter explaining it to the employer. We've had several people get jobs after we wrote a letter explaining that the employer was misinterpreting the private company's data. So it's very murky. It's a really sad thing that we have live in this society where being charged with the crime, even if we're never convicted, can still be put out in the public, and it can still cause us stress and anxiety. But for the most part, non-convictions are not going to deny people jobs. 20 years of doing defense work, non-convictions usually don't deny jobs, and many types of convictions also don't deny jobs, especially things like DUI, criminal traffic, things like that. So I hope you found this useful. Again, your record is your official criminal history, but private companies sell records that aren't your official record. So there you go. If you need some help, feel free to give my office a call. We'll listen to what happened. We'll identify a way forward, and we'll be there for you. Thank you.